everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend Peter Goldstein. Hi, Peter. How are you?
I'm magnificent, Kathy. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
Great, great. So today I'm excited to learn from you about your new project and about your journey to this new project from your enthusiasm about food as medicine. Could you fill in a little bit of information for us, please?
Well, you bet. So Hippocrates, whom we consider the father of Western medicine, the ancient Greek doctor, the father of medicine, we quote him as saying, "Let food be thy medicine." So it seems like it's ancient wisdom that food offers the nutrients that our body needs to be healthy and thrive. So amazingly enough, currently we have 40 years of tens of thousands of studies that prove that Hippocrates was right. In fact, we have leading doctors now who have proven that cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and so many of the other chronic disease killers are absolutely preventable and reversible. In other words, nobody needs to suffer with type 2 diabetes. Nobody needs to suffer or die from heart attacks, yet most people just don't know about this.
And I know that you last year at this time did a summit called weDIDit.health Dialogues. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about the other sites?
You bet. Radiant Health Dialogues we did in collaboration with one of the leading organizations in food as medicine, and that's Dr. Barnard and his organization is Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And they're one of the leaders in this movement. And we were honored to be able to do a program, a summit, where we interviewed 14 different plant-based doctors, all of them talking about how to prevent cancer for Breast Cancer Month. And it's really amazing because one of the things that has been proven is that cancer can be prevented, cancer can be reversed. People can actually, I've seen people who've had cancer and have had treatments, radiation, surgery, and by changing their diet and lifestyle, they really thrived through these treatments that so many people are knocked on their butts with, and they thrived and they're doing amazingly well. So radianthealthdialogues.com, please visit that site, benefit from what these doctors have to say about lifestyle as medicine to prevent and reverse and treat cancer.
Well, you have said originally about there's so much information, and so I guess it's 40 years of studies that have been done. Could you talk a little bit about why you think we haven't gotten further with our acceptance of the information? Because shouldn't we, 40 years is a long time, that's 2 generations.
40 years is, you're right, is more than 2 generations. And I really cannot speculate what's going on, why it hasn't gone further. You know, we can observe some of the big money powers in our culture. You know, for example, the milk industry spends $250 million a year to tell us that milk does a body good, when in fact milk is proven to cause so much disease. But yet, you know, we're constantly bombarded, and we have very deeply ingrained beliefs. Like, you know, another one is that the place to get protein is meat. Well, the fact is that calorie for calorie, beans have more protein than meat, and kale has more protein than meat. But, you know, let me back up a little bit. You mentioned the cancer and 40 years. In fact, it's 40 years ago now that Dr. Campbell, PhD researcher at Cornell University, proved scientifically, medically, scientifically peer-reviewed, unbiased study. He proved that cancer cells thrive on animal protein and cancer cells die from plant protein. And it's amazing because that's not the information that we're getting, and there's a lot of information, and in part my mission that I've undertaken is to help more people find this information and really see the power and the truth of all this information.
Well, I really enjoyed the Radiant Health Dialogue information, and I do hope that people will go look at that site. I'll put the link in the information so that people can go, because this October is Breast Cancer Month. And even though this was done last year, the information is just as valuable today as it was last year.
Absolutely.
So, Peter, your journey, though, has been that you started a site called Hippocrates Docs or Hippocrates Table. Could you talk a little bit about that before we go on to your current project?
Certainly. So my previous project was Hippocrates Docs, and you're welcome to visit that site. We have, with that site, we have taken on the mission of helping get the word out. So the word about nutrition and food as medicine. So on that site, we offer a lot of fundamental information about the research, about how it is so important. In fact, on our site, you'll see that we mentioned the NIH, National Institute of Health, and they reviewed all these studies and looked at them, and they came out saying every doctor should consider recommending a whole food plant-based lifestyle to all their patients.
Wow.
So the government at NIH several years ago looked at these studies, and so that's on the site. We have information about the leading doctors and their research. Dr. Esselstyn, who has absolutely proven that cardiovascular disease is preventable and even reversible. He claims that somebody could become heart attack proof in a matter of days by changing what they eat. With on this site, we've undertaken a project we call Just One Thing for Health. And with that, we've interviewed 30 different doctors and asked them, so if you could have your patients change one habit at a time, what would that be? So 30 different doctors, and they talk about all kinds of beautiful topics. So anything from eating more fiber to eating another salad a day, to the benefits of drinking the right amount of waters, even how to be compassionate with somebody who doesn't really understand or even tolerate this kind of a lifestyle. So we covered all that in a series of 30 emails featuring each of these doctors, showing our readers what their favorite resources are, what their favorite recipes might be, and information like that.
That's the part that I really enjoy. Is I like to cook, and so it's really fun for me to see how to cook in a different way, or different ingredients when you don't use any animal products. You don't use any butter or eggs. You all of a sudden you have to really think around how to do things. And a lot of the substitute foods, the grocery store's version of non-dairy foods don't quite taste that good. So it's really goes back to much more natural, not necessarily raw foods, but more sourced foods from nature.
Exactly. So the recipe, this is really, really simple. And there's 5 tenets to this diet and lifestyle. Basically, it's whole foods, meaning minimally processed foods, plant-based, meaning no animal proteins of any kind, and no added salt, sugar, and oil. So with those 5 things, all these chronic diseases, everything from aches and pains, uh, we can benefit from. So, and that's because these are the ingredients. This is the nutrition. This is what our bodies are designed for. So, our bodies have an amazing immune system, and more people have heard about the importance of a healthy immune system with this COVID thing, and so so this is the diet that provides the ammunition so that the immune system can be strong and healthy and do what it needs. So
Right.
we are born with our immune system, something to take care of us, and unfortunately the diet that most people eat is attacking and destroying the immune system. So instead of destroying and hurting our immune system, we need to empower and nurture our immune system. And it's really, really simple. It's eating foods that aren't processed. Processing, the food industry has gone into processing. And what they've done is they've taken food that nature has provided us, will strip the nutrients and add in the chemicals. So we're not only not getting the nutrients we really need, but instead we're getting chemicals that our bodies weren't designed for. So these chemicals get in the way and slow things down. And all the oils, there's way too much oil being consumed. The oils clog up insulin receptors and sludge up our blood systems. So and like I said, there's probably over 100,000 studies, including stuff like what happens when we consume oil. And it's been shown that we consume oil, the oil turns our blood system to sludge, which then means our blood system cannot carry the oxygen and pick up the trash that it needs to pick up from all the cells. And now our organs have to work extra hard to clear the oil out of our blood, because our immune system, our system, our body says that oil doesn't belong there. Get rid of it immediately. So now instead of getting the oxygen and the nutrients, now our body's working to clean up the blood system. So there's so many studies just showing all of this, and this is peer-reviewed, proven, scientific, valid studies.
Yeah. Well, I have been vegetarian most of my life, but going this next step has been interesting. And I haven't really had cravings. I'm still not pure, but close. I'm getting there. And but
Good for you, Kathy. That's
I do
wonderful.
feel like your energy changes, and I do believe as soon as you go to a vegetarian diet, your consciousness changes. It's just but you're not ingesting um, uh, the product of adrenaline and fear that goes through the whole food processing. And I know that's almost a political debate, and I'm not really sure that we want to go there, but I do think that for conscious people, it's much more conscious to watch your intake of animal proteins. That's all.
Absolutely. And right, you and I, we don't really need to go there either, but for anybody who doesn't understand what happens to with animals and in the processing life cycle, and this is something that people a lot of compassionate people are vegan because of it, and vegans are all about compassion for animals, and vegans will tell you, I mean, it's just mind-boggling, the millions of cows, for instance, that are so mistreated and so abused, and what it takes to get milk. I mean, and I don't want to go into this too far, but it takes they get cows pregnant because a cow has to have a calf to be able to get milk from them. Then they rip the calf away as soon as it's born. If it's a male calf, they slaughter them immediately. A female calf. I mean, it's just, and the hormones and the antibiotics and the torture and the pain and all that they go through. And you're right, that energy then is stuck in the meat and the milk and and all these animal products. It's really not conscious to be consuming animals.
Well, I just noticed that my emotional body, I noticed I was feeling different. And I noticed it even after stopping eating cheese, which I love, love, love. But anyway, and you were talking about um, a movie about cheese or a program about cheese.
Oh, there's lots of documentaries. I think I mentioned to you about the book that I was just reading. It's called The Cheese Trap by Dr. Neil Barnard. Dr. Barnard is one of the leaders of this movement. He actually he started out with animal compassion and then came over to human health as a doctor. And he has some really beautiful projects in his organization, a wonderful organization. But one of the many books he's written, and I think he's written over 30 books.
Wow.
One of the books he's written is The Cheese Trap. And, I so recommend that book to take a look at what's really going on. And he gets into it. I mean, cheese is probably the worst food, the most cholesterol, salt, concentrated, all kinds of really terrible things in cheese, I'm sorry to say. And the part of it you said is you love it and it's so hard to give up. But for some people it is because actually cheese has chemicals that trigger the dopamine receptors. So there's a dopamine, there's a drug-like high out of eating cheese. And that's why it's so hard to eat. That's why we have a culture addicted to pizza. And in this book that we're just talking about, Dr. Barnard goes through how the obesity factor took a huge jump when pizzas came so popular.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. So there's so many links between obesity and diseases and the wrong foods, and the wrong foods cause it and the right foods reverse it.
So what we're seeing right now, I don't know if it's especially during this time of lockdown or this time of transition, we're seeing that people are being more aware of their health. They're being more aware of their immune system. Anyone that's aware knows that you want to stay healthy. So eating a better diet makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the sense in the world. I mean, I mean, go back to, the simplest aches and pains, our joint pains, our aches and pains, all of this, it is linked to inflammation.
Right.
So it's really, really very fundamental. Animal proteins cause inflammation, plant proteins reverse it. And that's because eating animal products causes our bodies to be acidic. Plant products will neutralize and cause our bodies to be alkaline. And the acidity, it just makes all the sense. The acidity that we get when we're eating animal products eats away the battery acid. The acid eats away at our cells, at our blood, at our organs. And so even arthritis, for instance, arthritis can be really well reversed by changing to a plant-based diet.
Wow.
So most aches and pains are gone.
That's fantastic. So you have this site, Hippocrates Docs, where you've got this wonderful array of information, and you've done the summit. So now you started a new project which kind of marries everything together. Do you want to talk about your new project?
No, it's a secret.
Okay.
Now, thank you, Kathy. Of course, I want to talk about it. I can talk about it all day. Well, our new project is weDIDit.health is the website, but the objective of the project, our first project within this initiative is to create a live scoreboard where we can show the rest of the world that at least 1 million people are healthier for consuming a plant-based diet. And it occurred to me as I was telling people that eating plant-based is really important and really powerful. It occurred to me that most people just pushed me away and shut down. People don't want to hear about it. And so I kind of felt like they looked at me and like, oh yeah, well, you're talking about some wacko doctor in a cave somewhere in the middle of the Pacific. And like people just don't want to believe that this is true and real. Maybe it's a case of, well, it's too good to be true, so it must not be. So perhaps it's that, but I had the idea that maybe what we need to do is show the world that this is real and a lot of people are in fact benefiting. So we're creating a scoreboard. And if you are whole foods plant-based, please go to weDIDit.health and answer the simple one question survey of how your health is benefiting. And on the site, and anybody can go to the site, on the bottom of the page, you'll see a ticker that shows how many people have chimed in for the survey. And it's very new, so we're just launching it. The numbers are still low, but at the same time, they're really impressive. I mean, you look at it and you see, oh, you're going to bring it up, Kathy. Thank you. Yeah, there it is. So far, we've had 282 people chime in, but as you can see, the ticker, people have reduced arthritis, anxiety, blood pressure, cholesterol. I mean, just take a look at the ticker. It's amazing the percentage of people that are actually benefiting and all the many ways. A lot of people lose weight. The weight loss is a huge thing, but it's natural to lose weight on this lifestyle. Actually, Kathy, if you would please click on Life Scoreboard up on top. Thank you. So scroll down a little bit, please. A little more, please. All the way. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. Perfect. Thank you. So one of what's really amazing is this diet is actually the most powerful for the environment, for the planet. And this is a lot of people don't realize that, but take a look at this. So we're looking at almost 300 people, and on a daily basis, 300 people being plant-based save 310,000 gallons of water. And that's just 300 people. We save 11,000 pounds of grains. They're deforesting. The Amazon's almost completely gone because they're deforesting it so that they can grow cows for McDonald's hamburgers and not necessarily McDonald's, but to grow meat. And it's wasted. It's such a sad thing that on our planet, the Amazon, which was such a treasured resource, is almost all gone, and it's almost all gone to get more meat. The air pollution. I mean, 300 people are making a difference of 5,600 pounds of carbon dioxide a day, and of course, we're each saving one animal life. So we're not taking animal lives. We're saving the air pollution. We're saving the forest. We can feed more people. 11,200 pounds of grain. I mean, think of the starving children we could be feeding with that. And people, we can eat plant-based and be so much healthier and save all that water. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, because this lifestyle is huge improvement for, yeah, please scroll up so everybody can see all these numbers. More energy, 170 people more energy levels, 168 people lost weight. digestive health, 160 people feel they've improved their digestive health. I mean, how many of us have heartburn and digestive challenges? I mean, and that's because we're eating the wrong foods. And this is the right food. This is the food our bodies were designed for. And thanks to these wonderful doctors, they did the research, they did the science, and they've proven that this is the food that Mother Nature intended for us.
Yes,
So
and 40 years of the proof, and now there's more because of social media and because of ways of connecting during this time, this special time. There's a way for everyone to chime in and be counted in the survey, right?
yes, absolutely. So anybody who's plant-based, or at least in process of getting there, please be part of the survey and let's show the rest of the world that at least 1 million people are healthier for it. And then be part of our community. So what we're doing behind the survey, after the survey, we haven't launched it yet, it's coming soon, is actually a social network community for people who are plant-based, and so that everybody can communicate, can network with each other. And also, we're calling this the Inspiration Center, which is designed, and we're bringing in psychology and personal growth kinds of science and coaching and knowledge. We're bringing that all in so that we, as we're calling ourselves grassroots ambassadors, being the consumers, not the doctors and professionals, but the consumers of this lifestyle. We're grassroots ambassadors, and we're all really wanting to help our friends and loved ones be healthier. So the mission of this project, this initiative with the scoreboard and the platform, altogether, our mission is to find ways to empower grassroots ambassadors to be effective as we talk with our friends and loved ones, so that instead of pushing them away, we're better listeners, we're more compassionate to where they are. We learn how to look for the opportunities to present some information. So for example, rather than being in somebody's face and pushing, waiting for the day they say, boy, I have all these aches and pains, and then maybe that's an opening for saying, well, are you familiar with the role of inflammation and all that? Can I show you some information? Can I show you some doctors who have proven that maybe food is linked to your inflammation and to your aches and pains? And we're looking to uncover gentle ways to be successful at inspiring our friends and loved ones to hope and curiosity.
Well, I think you mentioned to me also a story about someone who had been talking to his father for a long time about all this, and then somehow after, do you know what I'm referring to? That his father was ill and then changed his diet. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, I believe his father ended up maybe with a heart attack. He got in the hospital, and he came to him in the hospital and started giving him the right smoothies, plant-based smoothies, and the doctors and the people in the hospital just couldn't believe how quickly he recovered and was able to go home. And there's millions of stories. Actually, a few of these stories, I think we have about 30 of them now. If you do visit weDIDit.health, up on top, you have a little menu. One of them is success stories. So please go to the success stories and read some of these stories. They're absolutely amazing, just unbelievable. I mean, I know people who've lost 200 pounds in reverse type 2 diabetes. And I mean, it's those things. Another person, he's a doctor. He had open heart surgery. Then he finally, he was like 62, open heart surgery. He found out that there's a way to prevent that kind of stuff. So after surgery, he changed his diet. He started exercising. Now he's run multiple marathons. He's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Let me see here. I happen to have his book here, Dr. Tahar.
Uh-huh.
And he has a fabulous story, and now he's running marathons. That's Dr. Akhil Tahar, Taher. I encourage you to look it up. I mean, these are phenomenal stories, and you know what? I'm so excited that we're going to have an opportunity to tell the world this, because it's like a best kept secret, although nobody's really keeping it a secret, but somehow it's not being told, and and I get the honor and the privilege to help tell these stories.
Well, I think part of it is that appears and feels difficult to change.
Yeah.
So but we're in a time of immense change. I mean, you can't hide from change right now, the way the world is. And so that's why I was so excited about sharing this information with with this audience, is that if you want more energy, if you want to be able to think straight, if you want to really stay vibrantly healthy, so that if you are a business owner and people depend on you, you want to think about what you're eating. And this is different than Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic is also has a balance and an energy to it, but this is one step further from Ayurvedic, where you follow pretty much a clean diet, is the best way I can explain it. And it's fun to learn how to bake and cook without oils and without salt and added sugar, which I don't know. It seems to give more energy without all of it rather than less, which is kind of
Absolutely.
interesting.
Absolutely. So really the first place to start, Kathy, is it's the mindset. So as long as we go along saying it's difficult to this, I can't do it,
Right.
so that's part of it, and so that's why we're bringing psychology in, and change psychology, because really I think it starts with our minds. We have to change that self-talk. We have to, instead of saying it's hard, I can't do it, maybe saying things like, maybe I can try it, maybe I'll like it,
Right.
and you'll be amazed. I mean, if you cook with dates instead of sugar, I mean, these recipes are amazing. And spices. So the way to get things flavorful is with spices. And spices have medicinal value themselves. So this is a whole new way of really tasty food. Plant-based, these meals, and there's excellent chefs and amazing recipes. They're probably tastier than your average steak and potatoes, or hot dogs, or, I mean, my God, hot dogs are class 1 carcinogens.
Right, right. But I think that, the American diet has been uh, anchored in place, and this time has allowed us to all be in a place where we get to choose a little bit more, where we have time. Many people are going to be looking at if they're going to go back to the office or they're going to stay working from home, and they get to make a whole bunch of new choices. So this is a perfect time
Perfect
to
time.
consider going to weDIDit.health, see what the difference has been for these people. And then if you're interested in getting support to change your diet, you can go to hippocratesdocs.com. Is it .com?
It is that
Yeah.
com.
And learn how you could start your journey.
Yes. And please feel free to write me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. You can reach me at Peter last name Goldstein, Peter G at we did it. Yes, we did it .health. So we did it .health. It's not a .com. We did it .health. So please visit the site. Please drop me a line. I would love to hear your story. I'd love to support you. I'd love to help you connect with the people who can support you, living your healthiest, best, most vibrant life possible. So Thank you very much. And Kathy, thank you so much.
Sure, it's perfect timing. I just think that this is part of the big change that we're here to experience. And it's a one more step towards a high consciousness lifestyle. And it's really fun. It's not hard to do.
Really fun. It's something new and something that feels so good.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Peter. I'll put all your contact information in the comment in the information in the description. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And here's to your health and joy. And thank you again. We'll see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you.